Hello. Hello, everyone. Hopefully you can see me and hear me. If you can just quick little yes in the chat, that helps me. Again, not the biggest on technology here. Yes, I have all kinds of yeses and clear. Perfect. Good, well, we can get started. Very first thing I want you guys to do, please, in the chat on the side, write if you're a coach or an athlete and what club or team you're affiliated with. I've already seen that we have a couple of national team coaches on here and some athletes. So put on there if you're athlete, coach, what club you're affiliated with, what team. I love seeing all the different clubs, all the different athletes, coaches, everybody pop up. It's very exciting. I love it. I think we have a little bit of everywhere. This is awesome. Yay, I'm excited for today, you guys. We're moving forward, right? So as everyone kind of keep going, put athlete, coach, club, affiliation, all that stuff in there. And I will quickly, we have a lot more people on our webinar today. And so quickly tell you a little bit about myself. Athlete, 13 years, all levels. I swam club, I swam on the national team, I swam collegiate, and I even swam masters. So I hit every level as far as an athlete. And then as a coach, same thing. I coach at club level, grassroots, all ages, all levels. And then I coached on national team for about 10 years. And I know last time people had asked what team. I've coached all age groups with national team. And probably the majority of the time I was with the juniors. And then coach collegiate, I coach masters. So as an athlete, the full spectrum, and as a coach, the full spectrum, all levels, within all ranges. And then I retired from coaching sport. And now I do this full time, ready, go. I work mental training, mental toughness, confidence building. And like I've told you guys in the past, being an athlete and a coach, these are the absolute critical areas and needs of reaching your potential, reaching your max. If you don't have those, you're going to fall short. I did as an athlete, I did as a coach, and as I built myself up, I was able to get to the level, get to the goals, hit the targets that I wanted to. And so I love that you guys are all on here. I'm excited that we're talking about where do we go from here, right? How do we move forward? And today's a little bit different than the other webinars. I have a few more slides than I have in the past, just so that you guys can, maybe it's a little bit easier for you to take notes, maybe to be able just to kind of follow along a little bit easier. And so we're starting off today with a quote. Surprise, surprise. You guys know by now that I absolutely love my quotes. And today, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. And I absolutely love this one because it falls in line with our topic today, right? We're going to keep moving. And we're not just moving, we're going to move forward. However, you can choose to just sit there. You can choose to let the time pass. You can choose to wait for things to go back to normal, right? Just let everything kind of slide by, go through the motions. But just like riding a bike, if you stop, you're going to fall off. Your dreams are going to pass you by, your goals out the window, you're not going to hit your targets. So we're talking about that, about moving forward. Think about it. You guys are on this webinar for a reason. Something pulled you here. Maybe it was simply a coach saying, hey, log on, do this, watch this. You saw it on one of the newsletters, but there's a reason that you're here. There's a reason something is drawing you to this webinar, to improve, to figure out how to move forward, right? And the reality is, guys, we're all athletes and coaches on here. We're a special kind of person, right? We have to stay firm to our goals. We have to keep moving forward. We have to get those targets. That's what we want. That's what drives us. That's what excites us. That's what makes us special as athletes and coaches. Not everyone's an athlete, not everyone's a coach, but all of us on here are, and that makes us a really unique, special person that likes to move forward, that wants to take that step. Not always easy, but that's why you guys are on here. Get some tips, get some advice, get some mental training in order to keep doing that. And so with today, I have a few individual, personal tips on how to move forward, where to go from here. And then I have some for teams, some teams to move forward, where to go. And so very first thing, we'll talk individual. What can you do as an individual coach or athlete in order to move forward? I really want to stress a couple of the things that we talked about in the motivation, the session that we did a few weeks ago. One of the big ones, gratitude. Guys, we talked about this a lot. We talked about so many different ways you can express it, ways to be thankful for, the blessings that you have. One of the big things that I had said was, if you appreciate it, you're going to give more. If you appreciate more, you're going to give more. And it's the truth. If you appreciate your coaches, you're going to have more respect for them. You're going to give more to them. If you have appreciation for your God-given talent, you're going to give more. You're going to push more. You're going to get yourself to that level, to that top ranking. I'm going to pull up my little notes from there so that you guys can kind of follow along. If you didn't watch the motivation, it is available. Let me know. It will be on the website, and I highly, highly recommend. We covered a whole lot of stuff, but I just wanted to touch on these couple. Big one, guys, huge, huge, huge. Our minds go in the direction of our words. I can't stress that enough. That's why mental training is so, so, so important. And so we talked about switching I have with I get. Okay, so let's be honest. When all of this started, our Corona break started, things all flipped upside down and changed, right? It was kind of fun, a little different, figuring out the whole virtual practice, how to do your sport on land. For instance, artistic swimming usually needs water. So at the beginning it was a little fun, it was a little bit interesting, a little bit of an excitement. And now it's like, oh my gosh, I have to get on. I have to do the virtual training. I have to do my drills. This is getting old. I'm tired of this. I'm ready to move on. And the same thing with coaches. The coaches that I have as clients right now, they've said the same thing. Okay, at the beginning, okay, a little exciting, trying to figure out what to do with my athletes, keep them in shape, keep them strong, how to simulate artistic swimming on land, all that kind of stuff. And then it's like, okay, I've kind of hit my max. It's so critical, guys. Switch the words that you're using. Switch the words that are up here. Instead of I have to do this, which sounds so heavy, right? It sounds like a chore. It sounds heavy. It sounds, obligation. It's when you think I get, it's lighter. I get to do this. There's a little bit of an excitement to it. There's a little bit of fun. So thinking right now, switching those words. I get to keep moving towards my goals. I get to be stronger. I get to still do my workouts. I get to improve on my weaknesses. It's just switching those words around. I know we went into this a lot on the motivation session, but it's key. I can't stress enough. Our minds go in the direction of our words. Second one, power words. The word that you connect with, or words that you connect with, helps with the motivation. Everyone is unique. Everyone's different. Everyone's power words are going to be different. I'm excited in today's webinar. We're actually using 2 of my power words. I did not do this on purpose, but as I started writing down and figuring out what it is I wanted to get across to you guys for moving forward, 2 of my power words popped up. So I'm excited that definitely is motivating me So finding those words that you guys can connect with, and be careful what we're saying to ourselves because it creates action. So we want to make sure that it's that positive, motivating, moving forward feel that we have. Next one, setting targets. I have told you guys, I like calling them targets. I think it's a little more exciting, a little more fun. It's the same as goals, but you got that bullseye in the middle and the things around it that you have to accomplish. Maybe they're the smaller targets in order to get to that bullseye, get to what you want. And again, we're athletes and coaches. We're motivated by goals. We're goal-oriented, target-oriented individuals. So when we make sure that we set those up small, big, some in the middle, daily targets, weekly targets. Just in the fact of setting those up, we're goal-oriented people. We're target-oriented people. That's going to help you stay motivated, help you stay forward, moving forward. Now, with Ready Go and with mental training, especially when we're talking about performance, we talk a lot about being present, being in the moment, being present, finding flow. But we're changing it up a little bit today, I told you, because what's the theme? What are we talking about? We're talking about moving forward. So sticking with individuals and some of the key things in order to move forward and what we can do is talking about future me, not Lori, future you, but talking in future me. For example, if I say 5 hours from now, what's future Lori going to think? What's future me going to think? Am I going to be happy, proud that I did my workout? I actually pushed really hard in my workout. I did extra. I did 2 more laps around the track than, what the plan was or what my workout said. Or 5 hours from now, am I going to be a little disappointed, a little frustrated maybe that I didn't do what I was supposed to? So thinking in terms of future you, what will future you think, feel? And this can be small. It could be, okay, tonight, what's future me going to think? In another month, what's future me going to think and feel? Maybe even 2 years from now, what's future you going to think, going to feel? Are you going to feel proud that, hey, during this crazy, crazy time, this pandemic, all of this stuff got flipped upside down. I gave my all. I did my absolute best. I came out of it and I felt proud. I learned this. I challenged myself in these ways. So thinking in terms of future me. Now, let me switch this. There I am. So in terms of future me. So we're human, right? We make mistakes. Like the beginning with our quote, riding a bike, we fall off. And sometimes we fall off and we'll sit there a little bit longer than maybe we should. Sometimes we'll get right back up and we'll keep going. And I'll be honest, I shared with you guys a couple of weeks ago that, during this time, I was doing pretty good, had a couple bad days. And when we're talking about this and talking in future, it was about, I think it was like last week or 2 weeks ago, I slacked. I totally did not do everything I was supposed to. I chose to live some things out. I didn't hit all of my targets. I have a personal fitness goal that I want to accomplish in this next year. And I had a week in there where, I definitely fell off. And now I'm looking back at that and I'm using it as my motivation. Because guys, I can't get that week back. You don't get your trainings back. You don't get your practices back. And so what can I do with that? I can use that as my motivation. I can use that to keep pushing me forward now in getting back on track, getting my targets set, keep moving forward in the direction that I want to go. And so, we're human. We hit bumps, right? We get knocked off, but it all depends on how quickly you get back up and you start riding again. and using those examples, using those situations as your motivation to keep pushing you forward. Happened to me, but now I'm using it. I'm using it big time to get on track, move forward. I'm moving forward fast now. And, one day builds to the next, builds to the next, builds to the next. And so in keeping with this individual, have a couple more for here. I want you guys in the chat on the side, I want you to write, how do you want to feel first day back? When the pools open up, the fields open up, the courts open up, how do you want to feel first day back? Ooh, in control. I like that one. Go ahead, just start writing. How do you want to feel? What is it? What feeling is it that you want? Ooh, healthy and in shape. Yes, that will definitely help. And that will help you with confidence. That will help you feel ready. That will help you feel prepared. Flexible. Nice. In shape. So when we're talking about future self, guys, I want you to write down these questions. I want you to ask yourself these questions. And this is going to give you the motivation to keep moving forward. Okay, on day one, I want to feel this way. I want to feel this way. I want to be this. So you have to put in the work now in order to get to that point. And so write these questions down. How do you want to feel at the first competition? How do you want to feel when that first competition comes? Because we don't know when that's happening. It could be sooner than later. It could be a lot longer. But again, using this as your motivation to keep you pushing forward, to keep moving forward as you go. Now, the last one, give me 2 seconds. I'm seeing if I can still pull up the chat on here. Oh, I can. Perfect. Beautiful. See, I'm learning stuff new every day with this, guys. Okay, so we're asking ourselves, how do I want to feel day one, first day back? How do I want to feel at the first competition? And then the last one, what did I do today to make myself better? And this one, you guys, it doesn't necessarily need to be sports related, okay? It could be that I did extra schoolwork. I'm proud of myself. I did more in my schoolwork. Maybe it's I helped out around the house. Maybe it's I ate really healthy and clean today. So just thinking on a daily basis, what did I do today to make myself better? What did I do today to make myself better so that I feel the way that I want to feel on day one back at the pool? So write these down. That's why I kind of did a couple more slides, like I said. So it gives you guys some things to kind of move forward. And as coaches, these are great things to ask yourself. How do you want to feel on your first day back to practice and training? How do you want to feel at that first competition? Because this is all very different. We're all going to feel very different than what we have in the past because of this big curveball that's been thrown at us. So asking yourself that, and then asking your team too. Seeing where everybody is so that we're still on the same page. Okay, so that is our big ones as far as individual. We're looking at all of those reminders for our motivation. We've got gratitude. We've got replace I have with I get. We have our power words. We have setting our targets. We're talking in future me. There you go, future me. Asking ourselves those questions, daily question, and using that as our motivation to keep us moving forward from there. Okay, so now I want to get into some things that we can do as a team moving forward. Now, there's two. One, I just said team, and you guys know from the first one, that's one of my power words. I get very excited. I get very happy when we talk in terms of team. Makes me smile. Always part of something bigger that you're going to accomplish that you can't do by yourself. And so with team, the first one that I'm going to give you a little tip, is about connection. And you've probably heard this before. Oh, connect with your team. I know that people are being very creative right now with virtual connecting, with their immediate team, connecting with teams, from other clubs, teams around the world, all of that kind of stuff. But I'm looking at specifically your team that you're on or that you're a part of, and that connection. And I'm talking about an intentional, deep connection, not surface, introductory, small talk. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about going deep, really, really having that connection with your teammates. And this requires work. This requires courage, because what I'm asking you to do is step outside of yourself to really understand your teammates. So figuring out exactly what makes them tick. What is it that motivates them? When they have a bad day, do you know how to help lift them up? How do they learn? Everyone has different learning styles. So again, not getting just to the surface stuff, but digging a little bit deeper within your teammates so that you know how they click, you know how they move, you know what works for them. And so I have another slide. So we talked about future self, we moved on to team. And we're talking about that purposeful connection, stepping outside of yourself to really understand your teammates. How do they learn? What picks them up? What motivates them? How do they tick? What are some things that make them frustrated, that maybe make them mad? How can you help them in that sense? So again, this isn't surface stuff. It's digging a little bit deeper. And this is how we can move forward during this time, is to get into some of those deeper conversations, really letting things out. And I put a share section on here to get, just a few questions, just a few maybe like things to point out, some triggers in there to help you guys realize, okay, what is, a childhood memory? What is a tradition that your family has? What is something that you're passionate about that isn't sport related? And I really, really encourage you to have these connections not be sport related. So not going in and talking about, what your sport is, artistic swimming in this case, not focusing in on that, but going bigger, broader. There's more to all of us, coaches and athletes, than just our sport. So digging deeper, finding that, sharing that, using that. Maybe it's a Team Tuesday. And while we're currently still in the situation that we all are in, the world is still in, that maybe it's Team Tuesday, and that's when you get on and you share a part of yourself, that you share what you're passionate about. That at that point too, you're learning about a teammate or a coach at this point. You're growing, you're sharing. Maybe you learned something that you didn't know. Maybe, someone has a really cool hobby that they enjoy doing, and you learn about that. So again, it's connecting on that deeper level. I know that with this virtual training and stuff, I know a lot of coaches have gotten pretty creative. They've done contests with their team. They've, allowed athletes to create the workout for the day, change things up. And I love all of that because that's a way of expressing yourself. But what I'm asking you guys is to go deeper, to go on a more personal level, to have that connection so that you're even more as you move forward. There's more of a connection with your team, with your coaches, with your purpose as you move forward through there. Okay. Second one that we're going to go into in reference to team and how can we move forward as a team? How can we move forward as a group? And so in the chat, you guys, I will get out of here. And in the chat, I want you to write down, what does a team need to reach its true potential, to max out, to get to be at that point that they need to be at? What does a team need in order to reach its true potential? I'll let you guys write in a couple things in here. I'm seeing commitment, a great leader, chemistry, trust, connection, common goal, motivation, respect, trust, commitment. Everyone connected, works hard. I'll let you guys keep writing in here. So all teams are unique. All teams are different. You have different personalities, you have different things. And that's one of the things that I love with Ready Go and working with teams and doing team coaching is finding exactly what you need, your group needs in order to be successful, in order to move forward, in order to reach that potential, in order to max out everyone's talent and really get to where you need to go. Absolutely one of my favorite things to do, one of my favorite coaching with when I do with Ready Go, because you have to find what it is that's special for you guys. I have three through my experience as an athlete, and majority, I would think, as a coach. I have three big ones, three key things that I feel are critical in order for a team to reach its success, to reach its potential, to be able to max out. You guys have I've seen it. I've seen all three of mine pop across here. And like I said, it's neat because it's different. Every team is going to be different. And so I will share with you guys my three. And like I said, you've got three. These are kind of like my baseline. Like you have to have these. And then, yeah, you might be throwing in some other things. It might be confidence. It might be, other areas. But the three that I have found the absolute most beneficial is one, and I've seen this pop up a lot, trust. You have to have trust. You have to have trust in yourself. You have to have trust in your teammates. You have to have trust in your coaches. You have to have trust in the plan. That is absolute, I almost say probably my number one. You have to know and have to trust that everyone's giving their all, that everyone's maxing out, that you can trust what's going on. And trusting the plan is one of the biggest ones. And that takes time. And trust takes time to build. It doesn't just happen like that. But that's one of the absolute biggest ones for sure. The second one I'm reading, so people keep putting things in the chat, which I love. I wish I had like more people to like read these for me and do this. There's so much. I get excited. The second one, and I've seen this pop up too, you guys, is respect. Huge, absolute critical. You have to have respect for yourself. You have to have respect for your coaches. You have to have respect for the sport. And when we're talking about artistic swimming here, guys, it's a judge sport. We know that. We know that going in. We have to respect that. Whether we like the scores, we don't like the scores, all of that, sure, that can all, but you have to respect, what the sport is, respecting that. Respecting competitions, respecting coaches, judges, respecting your pool time. Former athletes of mine know that's critical. Respect your pool time. Don't waste what you have. Respect. That's a big one. And then my third one, and I've seen this pop up too, is responsibility. The team needs to be responsible. Again, take responsibility for yourself. Admit when you make mistakes. Take ownership of what you're doing. You have to have responsibility to give your all. And it kind of goes along. I've seen discipline pop up in there. That's being responsible. You have a talent. You have a job. Being responsible to make sure that you're doing it. And so when we're looking at that, you guys, those are the absolute three that I have found you have to have. You have to have in order to be successful, to get to that potential to reach. And like I said before, all teams are unique. And that's where I have fun. Again, we're talking about team, one of my big power words, that I have fun working with teams to figure out what are those other components you need? What are we missing? And so, and moving forward, you guys, and speaking about this, I call this uncomfortable, because you have to get uncomfortable and you have to get to the truth. You have to get to the bottom line. You have to be honest. And usually when we're talking about being honest about something or really telling the truth, sometimes that can feel uncomfortable. And that's where we're going with this. So we had our purposeful connection. We're talking about being uncomfortable. What does a team need to reach its true potential, to be able to max out? You have to be real. I gave you my three top ones, but this is where I kind of challenge you guys moving forward as a coach. What is it that your team is missing? What component of this are you missing? As an athlete, be honest. What are you missing? What are we missing as a group? And that's why I called this uncomfortable, because you got to dig a little bit deeper. Again, this isn't surface stuff. If you want to get to that next level, if you want to keep moving forward, you have to go to these kind of uncomfortable places in order to get the truth out. And so we're talking about being real. What are we missing? Maybe we have all of these components, but one is a lot weaker than the others. One, yeah, we need to build this one. How can we fix it? What do we need to do to fix this now? How can we do it to improve and move forward in that sense? So that's why I like this one. I mean, this is another one of my power words that we talked about in that first motivation webinar, is that uncomfortable. This is where growth comes, guys. If maybe you're stuck, you're at a standpoint. I know that majority of the zone competitions, if not all of them, were able to take place before this happened. International competitions were taking place. That, we were able to start the season in that sense. And looking at that, what can we learn from there? What were we missing? What were some of our weaknesses? What were we lacking? And so with this and being uncomfortable and being able to take this and move forward, guys, is asking, as a coach, ask your team, what do we need? What do you guys think, a team needs in order to reach its true potential, in order to max itself out? What needs to happen? And then as athletes, ask yourself, what do you think a team needs? And then have that conversation, have that real conversation, get into it and get uncomfortable, because you guys already know that uncomfortable equals growth. You stay comfortable, you ignore the situation, you ignore ways to improve, to move forward. You're going to stay uncomfortable, but no growth happens and you're not going to move forward. Bottom line. I don't make this up. It's the truth. And so when we're looking at that, you've got with team, we've talked about connection. We talked about a purposeful connection. Again, not the surface stuff, but digging a little bit deeper. And this doesn't mean, I really need to stress this, you guys, it doesn't mean that you're going to be best friends with your team. But again, I just mentioned that there needs to be respect. So when you're sharing yourself, when you're building a connection, when you're learning what picks my teammate up, maybe you know what picks one person up, but why don't you explore and dig a little bit deeper, get uncomfortable, and ask 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 people, what is it that picks you up? What motivates you? When we have that bad practice, or you're getting frustrated, or maybe you're just not getting that skill or your drill, what helps? What could I say? What could I do for you? How can we move forward? So again, you're taking this purposeful, intentional, deeper connection, building upon that, and you got to get a little bit uncomfortable sometimes in order for the growth to happen. Already understood that, already established that. So with that, I have my last thing just to cover with you guys is, I started with a quote. I'm going to end with a quote. That's why this one makes me a little bit excited. Is you can't start the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one. Okay. In all honesty, guys, no one planned for this chapter in our life right now, right? No one planned for this, for sure. So what I ask you is I want you to flip through the pages of the last couple of weeks that we've had. I want you to take what is useful and move forward. I need you to let go of the stuff that isn't, and now start the next chapter. We're going to move forward. We're going to start that next chapter. I have a very few minutes. If there's any questions, if there's anything that you would like me to put back up on the screen, any of the slides that I had, trust the process I see right there. Absolutely. That's the biggest one, you guys. I said trust. Someone asked, it was trust. Have to have that. You have to have respect, and you have to have responsibility. Those are from my experience, athlete, coach, all levels, all teams, all age groups, club to national team, even individual athletes. I know it's as a team, But if you are working one-on-one with an athlete, you have to have the trust, you have to have the respect, you have to have the responsibility, um, in order to move forward in that. And if there's any other slides that you guys want me to pop up, do you need me to repeat in there? So I just saw a question from Reem. It says, if some team members have a harder time trusting in general, what would you tell them? How would you have the trust? Again, this is where trust needs to be built. It doesn't just happen. And one of the things that I think was really beneficial with athletes when I was working with my athletes, when I was a coach, was being honest. You know, asking for input, but being honest. If there was times that I would make a mistake, I made a mistake plenty of times in my coaching career with my athletes, but I would admit that. I would say, hey, I messed up with this, but this is what I learned, and this is what I'm going to do differently, to show that you're real, to be able to really get out there and be raw, be honest, to be able to kind of get that going. But again, trust just doesn't happen. I've mentored a lot of coaches, and I remember one coach asking me like, well, I feel like I'm doing my best, but I don't feel like the athletes are trusting me. And then it also comes back to, how confident are you? Again, like I said, being able to admit mistakes, I think that helps build trust, rather than thinking I have all the answers, I know everything, I'm the person that sits up here. I felt like I was pretty level with my athletes, that, yeah, I am a coach. Yeah, I have a lot of information. I have, a lot of knowledge. I know what I'm doing. Do I mess up sometimes? Sure. But having that, really digging deep, getting uncomfortable, having those experience where you can build trust. And it's also, I would always ask my athletes, trust me. And I would give them smaller situations to build upon that. And if it's one athlete in particular, maybe two athletes in particular, they're a little bit hesitant, that don't really trust, that's when you have to get uncomfortable and have those one-on-one conversations with them and get deep. What is it? Are you really scared? Are you scared that you're going to mess up? Are you, it's all those what ifs, guys. If there's that trust that's not happening, maybe it's going a little bit further and figuring out what ifs. How does this happen? Moving forward with those types of things. Again, trust is something you have to build. So it's finding that one little thing, building. It's not something you can snap your fingers. It's not something that just happens. When you have those results in those smaller experiences that you can offer, trust will start building. Knowing that you can share something, maybe something that's personal, opening up and having a little bit more of that connection. I think I think that's where you can build it, to be real, to be honest, to be raw with your athletes, and athletes with your coaches, and establishing that and building that. I know that one other question that came up a ton in the last session that I wanted to talk about too, was in dealing with frustration, right? Coaches get frustrated, athletes get frustrated, inevitable, gonna happen, happens all the time. And frustration comes, you guys, because it's not fun. What you're doing isn't fun because you haven't reached a level yet to enjoy it. That's what it is. Think about it. If there's something you're really good at, maybe it's egg beater boost. You'll do egg beater boost all day and you're happy and it feels good. It's something that you're successful with. It's a strength of yours. But the frustration comes when you hit those roadblocks, and it's not fun because you haven't reached a level to where you can enjoy it yet. Again, that's where we go back to being uncomfortable, knowing that growth only comes out of being uncomfortable. Comfortable is a great place to be, but nothing changes there. So looking at that in a sense, and being able to allow yourself to get to that point where you enjoy it. No, I'm being challenged right now. Problems suck, but I know that there's a happy place at the end of this. I know that when I can figure out what this challenge is, I'm going to be able to enjoy it. I'm going to be able to move forward. I'm going to be able to use this as one of my strengths and not something that I kind of run and hide from. And I've done this before, and especially with frustration, and when you're doing repetition, or frustration that a lift isn't working, or frustration that, you know, a certain tactic that you're trying or drill, and it's not happening. I usually, one, I would turn to my captain on the team and say, hey, go just for a few seconds, talk, do what you need to do. A lot of times I would encourage athletes to go underwater and scream, like literally go under the water, scream, shake, let it all out, get rid of it, come back up. And then as a coach, we would either do it again, or we would switch to a different activity, a different drill, then maybe come back to that. You know, and even as a coach, to stop, take a drink of water, maybe take a quick lap around the pool, around the field, around the court, whatever sport, to just get away for a second, come back, because frustration is inevitable. It's going to happen. But realizing that that means you're going to grow, because you have a challenge, you have a problem, and you're going to solve it. And at the end of solving it comes your happiness, comes success, comes ways to keep building and building and building. I see a lot more things popping up in here. I am not going to have a chance to get to all of them, but I do have good news, exciting stuff to share with you guys. And that, okay, so here's my email. I have on here my website too. And then I'm excited. Ready Go started Instagram. So please, guys, follow along there. There's going to be quotes, of course, motivation, mental toughness, tips, all different resources on there, updates, all kinds of stuff. So I highly recommend follow on there. It'll be, you know, multiple times a week. We'll be posting, putting different things on there, help you with some inspiration, some motivation. And then also in our theme of today with moving forward, in the coming weeks, you guys, I'm super excited to launch membership for Ready Go for athletes, and then a membership for Ready Go for coaches. And that will include more of the live webinars, members only Ready Go worksheets, PDFs, articles. I will have multiple videos on there. So this doesn't have to stop here. Along with the questions, you guys, write in the chat now other questions that you have, other issues that you would like to see me address, you know, in the coming webinars with videos. People have been putting the questions in on the chats, and I personally, throughout the week, go back. I answer them the best that I can for you. I get back to you with that information. And so, yeah, so this doesn't stop. Follow on Instagram. Lots of information is going to be popping up on there, motivation, things you can share with your teams, ways to inspire you as coaches, stay on track, all that kind of stuff. As always, email, my website. But then, yeah, this doesn't stop here. I've gotten a lot of feedback, a lot of people very excited to want to continue on with this. This is my passion, you guys. This is what I love. And I've realized that this is the critical component: mental toughness, Ready Go, confidence, in order to really reach your goals. You can go to the pool, the fields, the courts, and do your drills over and over and over. But when it comes to game day, when it comes to competition, if this isn't the right place, it's not going to happen. I appreciate every one of you. I'm so happy that you joined. I know that the videos will be on the Artistic Swimming website for you guys. Yeah, I'll leave the chat open for a little bit longer so you guys can put questions in there, but just email me. Email me. You can contact me through website, Instagram, lots of ways. I want to hear from you. I want to help you. I want to coach you. Yeah, I do one-on-ones too. That's where you really get your personalized, customized, because like I said, everyone's different, everyone's unique. There's those big components of mental training and mental toughness, but it's when you really get specific and personalized, that's where the big stuff pays off. I appreciate you guys. Have a beautiful week. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Bye.